Something strange is happening on social media right now. We're seeing a complete shift away from how creators used to grow to an entirely new digital landscape. And love them or hate them, but extremely successful entrepreneurs and content creators like Alex Hormozi, Andrew Tate, and Eamon Gadzhi have all cracked the code and taken advantage of this new landscape to generate billions of views and tens of millions of dollars. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what the shift is, how you can take advantage of it, and exactly what to do if you want to be able to grow on social media, just like the biggest names in the space. Now, it comes as no surprise that social media platforms are increasingly favoring short form, highly engaging content. Algorithms now prioritize consistency in the frequency of posting and the actual content you post over sporadic, high effort content. And like I mentioned, there are all these creators who have been able to dominate platforms by creating massive amounts of content. Think Andrew Tate, Alex Hormozi, Eamon Gadzhi. What they're all doing is leveraging long form content to feed a content machine for multiple platforms. Because honestly, creating one-off content for individual platforms just doesn't work anymore. It's simply too time consuming and inefficient if you want to grow. And if you're running a business, working a job, or have any other big responsibilities in your life, it's super taxing to create all that bespoke content. For example, someone like Andrew Tate never would have grown as big as he did if he wasn't repurposing his content at all. And yeah, it helped that he actually had a team of people to help clip and repurpose his content for him. But there are actually ways around needing a big team to help you with this, which I'll show you later. My thing is that if you're focusing on a single platform, that's absolutely going to limit your brand exposure and your audience reach. Not only that though, but every single platform is kind of like its own country. It has its own etiquette, it has its own nuances, and every audience is different. And so having to create that content specific for each platform can absolutely lead to creator burnout. So something to definitely keep in mind. So here's how the new system works. Start with long form content like podcasts, webinars, or more in-depth long form videos. Break down the long form content into bite-sized clips optimized for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. You can see tons of evidence of this all over the internet. Again, people like Eamon Gadzhi, Alex Hormozi both take clips from their longer form videos and podcasts and repurpose them into short form content for Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube Shorts. Then what you could do is you take those clips and you create engaging text-based content that you can post on LinkedIn and even on X. You could even take the content from podcasts and then post it also on LinkedIn. The idea here is that you have this amplified brand awareness, you save tons of time, and it's a multi-platform growth. And in 2025, the difference that makes the difference is going to be consistency. And I'll show you how to set up a system like that in a moment. But first, I just want to show you exactly why this is so important. Because for so many people, this is a tipping point on whether or not their content is actually going to blow up or not. Platforms reward consistent posting and penalize gaps in your content schedule. Because honestly, at the end of the day, they want to generate as much ad revenue as possible, which means keeping viewers on the platform as much as possible. Audiences trust and remember brands and content creators that show up daily. And again, this is simply why those creators and entrepreneurs that I mentioned before simply win. But most creators struggle with keeping up due to, let's say, limited time and resources to create custom content for each platform. Or let's say a lack of understanding of platform specific requirements. Sometimes it's just a manual process and then they waste dozens of hours on scripting, formatting, and repurposing, if they're even repurposing in the first place. But repurposing content is simply one, if not the most efficient ways to grow. And it doesn't even hurt or turn away the original viewers. In fact, the content that they're seeing isn't exactly what they already saw. If it's repurposed into text, if it's edited, posted somewhere else, there's no way of knowing that the content was repurposed in the way that it was. So just by using some tools like Castmagic, for example, you can automatically generate scripts and captions for dozens of clips and posts from a single long form video or podcast. You get platform specific optimizations like captions for Reels, language and formatting for LinkedIn. It also organizes all of your content into a streamlined workflow so that way teams can focus on strategy and engagement. Overall, what this allows you to do is take an original piece of content that you made, take the talking points, the tone of voice that you were saying it, and everything, and then propagate it across all the different platforms that you know that you need to be posting on to really grow on social media and truly stay consistent. But before that, I want to do a bit more of a deep dive on the strategy behind people like Alex Hormozi and Andrew Tate's content explosion. See, they've used teams to extract hundreds of clips from their long form content. And while they still tweet and create the occasional piece of bespoke content for different platforms, typically they've hired writers to create tweets, LinkedIn posts, and captions for those clips. And those posts are specifically designed to dominate every social media feed in order to build like massive awareness. And they also include specific industry insights and knowledge in order to do that. But the issue is that creating a clipping army traditionally requires a large budget to hire editors and content managers. It also requires significant time investment for managing the workflow. You need high-level content repurposing expertise that most small teams actually lack. So for example, what you can do is you could turn a single podcast episode or webinar into 100 pieces of viral written content. So let me show you how I do this. So I go over here into Castmagic. I've already imported this episode with Alex Hormozi on the Diary of a CEO. And here's the really cool part is that when I click on create content, you'll notice that Castmagic has already suggested additional titles that I can use. It also gives me keywords that I could optimize my videos on YouTube. One of the things that I enjoy most about Castmagic is that it will automatically pull out quotes and hooks and the timestamps that I can use and repurpose across different social media platforms. This is actually really great for a platform such as X, or formerly known as Twitter. Another really cool feature of Castmagic is that it'll take the transcript and from there turn it into a newsletter draft that you could send out to your audience. So in this particular example, it has 5 keys you'll learn in this episode, a fun fact, and then a call to action as well. Now, if you're a fan of using X to grow your audience, this is a really great way to create Twitter threads. You'll see here that Castmagic already gave me a thread that I could use and start importing into the platform. Another cool feature with Castmagic is that if you're trying to grow your audience on Instagram threads, it already gives you suggested social media posts that you could put on there. So you could have a whole entire threaded discussion that recaps the podcast episode that you just dropped. Then what you can do is distribute those pieces of content seamlessly across all platforms with scheduling integrations for consistency and ease of workflow. So if you really want to get ahead, that's what people like Noah Kagan and dozens of other successful content creators and entrepreneurs are actually using to grow on social media. There'll be a link in the description where you can try Castmagic out completely for free, no strings attached, and you can actually see why people like Noah Kagan and thousands more are actually preferring this method. And it really pays to be able to dominate on all the big platforms because what you get is increased brand awareness and recognition, diversifies traffic sources, and audience growth. It has this compounding effect, like content from one platform actually drives engagement on another. Sticking to 1 or 2 platforms limits your reach, especially if you're not posting consistently on those platforms, which isn't something you really need to worry about since you just watched me create a month's worth of content in only a few minutes. Competitors are using multi-platform strategies to grow faster, and audiences expect your presence across their preferred platforms. Otherwise, they get way less invested, take you less seriously, and worst case scenario, they move on. Anything that helps you get ahead can literally help you create over a month's worth of content in just a few minutes is incredibly valuable right now. And in this video, I quickly showed you how to make those 30 pieces of text-based content using Castmagic. But I didn't go super in depth on any systems or show how to use other tools alongside Castmagic to do that. And I didn't show you how to do the visual aspect either. But when you're able to combine something like Castmagic with other tools like ChatGPT and Canva to automatically create hundreds of pieces of content, that's when you truly start to see insane results. Which is why in the next video, I give you a complete step-by-step walkthrough of how to use AI to create 300 individual pieces of content all in about 10 minutes. So you can stop stressing about what to post on every platform and effortlessly grow on social media. I'll see you over there.